Setting up the correct driving position in your car is crucial to being both comfortable and safe behind the wheel. But how do you do it? Well, what we're going to do today is look at some of the key steps that you need to follow in order to get the perfect position set up. Quite often people go first of all to the mirrors and the rear view mirror, but you should leave those alone until you've set your position, because once you've moved around a bit, all of those adjustments are going to be thrown out completely. So leave those alone for now. Now what we do first is set your seat height. Now personally, I like to sit nice and low in the car because that gives a better sense of being within the vehicle and it gives you a better feeling of control. Now also what you need to do is adjust the amount of distance that you are sat away from the pedals. Now what you do in a manual car is you press the clutch, and when you've got the clutch right down to the bottom of the floor with still a little bit of bend in your knee, that's where your seat should be placed. In an automatic, it's slightly different. So what you want to make sure is that you've got a full depression of the accelerator pedal and good operation of the brake too, again with a bit of bend in your knee. You don't want to be at full extension because that's going to get uncomfortable when you're driving for a long time. So adjust your seat accordingly and make sure you've got really good and strong operation of the pedals. Then you can focus on the steering wheel. Now what we should do here is use the adjustments. Certain cars have certain different types of adjustment and other cars might not be able to offer quite as much as this car does here. But right now you can bring it nice and close towards you. And a good rule of thumb is once you've got your wheel adjusted and your seat adjusted, you can put your wrists on the top of the wheel and you should just have a slight bend in your arm. And that means that you've got a perfect amount of grip on the wheel and you've got enough to adjust when you're moving around the wheel itself. So now, once you're set up there, you can set up your mirrors. So use the adjuster at the side to put the mirrors to the correct spot, and so you've got a slight amount of car in view, but a good amount of the road too. And then you can do your rear view mirror, adjusting that accordingly. You should also make sure that you've got plenty of space between yourself and the steering wheel boss. Now this is the central part, and that's because of the airbag. Now most airbags come out between 150 and 200 miles an hour, which is a huge amount of force for your chest to take on. If you're sat too close, then there's barely any space for that airbag to slow down, and it means it could do some real damage in the event of an incident. So what you need to make sure is you're sat far enough away from the wheel that you can still get a good reach on the top of the rim, but you aren't too close, so that airbag's going to cause an issue. If someone else has been driving your car, it pays to do these checks once more, because if they've adjusted it, all of your changes may have been thrown out of whack. And once you do that, you're all set up and you're comfortable behind the wheel.